labourers employed here in Herdmans.
Oh, aye. That was the main really workforce.
Yeah.
There was nothing else.
Yeah.
No. And people were just waiting to leave school.
So how did they get a job in here? They just went down to the supervisor,
down to the supervisor and spoke to him, and obviously he might have known you and would have talked very nicely to him, and he started you off, and you were going to be there till you retired unless you did something wrong.
Yeah. And in those days, people, I'm talking about the 1800s, they basically walked to their work.
Oh, aye.
Cycled.
And cycled on a bicycle, and I mean there was no cars in them days, as you would imagine, you know.
And then it changed to buses and...
That is right, aye, and even the train, people came up from Strabane.
That's right.
And got off here, there was a railway station there.
That's right.
There were buses from Castleberry, Newton Stewart, and
all over.
A very interesting factor was that the village, the houses, a lot of them, well, most of the workers actually lived in those houses up there.
Aye, surely.
So if you lost your job, Tom,
you lost your house. You could lose your house. When I started in '53, I started on a Thursday.
Right.
That was not usual day to start your work, but the supervisor wanted somebody in. So my first pay was 2 days' pay.
Right.
And I got the princely sum of 12 and 8pence.
Right.
That's about 60 odd p today.
Yeah. You told me a funny story about John Hamilton and the Highland money. What was that?
Well, I had an occasion to go down to see John about something, and he took me in, and he locked the door behind me.
Yeah.
When I looked round, the money was built up round the walls. I never seen such much money in all my life. I haven't seen as much since.
I suppose I want to be a millionaire.
Do you recall John coming down in pitch dark to pay the night shift out?
That's right.
And
That's right, Tom.
no security men with him, no security at the gates, and they would have been queuing up now. They got robbing him, you know.
I had a little box, and your money was inside the box. Everyone had a box and your own number. Remember, my number was 118,
Right.
and that's how he knew. Yeah.
And everybody was handed the box or envelope, or
Yes.
it's like a leather envelope.
Yes.
I can remember.
If you were 15, you got a rate for the job, and 16 a rate for the job.
Yeah.
I remember I was working with a guy. He was about 3 years older than me,
Yeah.
and every Friday when he opened his box, he says, "Tom, there's one thing. John Hamilton sort the man out from the boys."
But it's true. But then you must have seen big change, Mr. Price, whenever they went on the shifts from, as I was talking.
Oh, aye, we had shifts here
You
which
understand.
were 6 to 2, 2 to 10,
24 hours.
and then 10 back,
Yes,
back
24
round to
hours.
6. Aye. So there was an early start for some of them. Some of them
Yeah.
left home, I would
It
say,
was
about 4 in the
62
morning.
one week and 2 to 10 the next week.
That's right.
The
The
hooder used
hooder
to blow.
went, that's what I was
3
saying,
minutes
the
at a
hooder.
time.
3 minutes. But that once he closed that mill gate, you had to stand, you went over to the side and you stood there in the hope maybe the foreman would come down, be short of a worker,
Yeah.
or maybe you would get him if a man like
So
you.
there's a chance, Mary, you could start at after lunchtime. Was
Oh,
that
aye. You come down then, but until you were on time then at lunchtime.
true?
Do you remember the person in the department was noted she had to go out with a cardboard box, take the
That's
orders of the
right.
workers,
That was right,
what they
Thomas.
wanted, 2
Yes.
sandwiches and 2
She'd come
sausage
back,
rolls.
aye.
He brought it into you then.
Aye, and we had a wee party then at from 12:30 to 1:15 was lunch hour, you see, 3/4 of an hour. But we all would have gathered like in wee groups and had our tea, And
The old mill, as we knew it, closed down in 1989, and they moved over to the new factory,
is
which
right.
was built.
aye,
And new machinery was put in. And
aye.
the tonnage, I think it was 60 tons or 80 tons of linen thread went out through the mill gate
My God.
to the various parts of the world.
Aye.
Some local Ulster weaving, some went to Italy, where it was made into sort of the fashion dresses, coats, jumpers,
Suits.
what have you.
Italy was a big buyer.
It was, and of course
America.
we all know it went to America as well.
Yeah.
And I know going back to very quickly to 1896, the pay for a reeler was 2 and 6 a fortnight. In 1953, it was something like £5, 10 shillings. And of course, coming to sort of 2003, 2004, it was over £200. So it shows you how.
So my granny would have been getting a wee small wage then. She was in the real room.
Oh yeah.
She took a wee
Very, very little money in them days.
I mind my father saying she took a wee tin can with her every morning with her tea in it, you know.
Yeah.
And she heated it on something, a truss or something, you understand? And that was the food tonight. There was no canteen then. Up there, looking at the corner, up in number 4, up in the new end. That's where I started. Left school on a Friday, and on Monday morning I was up in number 4 wandering.
Yeah.
And that was where I loved number 4. And
Yeah.
I'm sure, Thomas, where did you start off?
I started in the mechanic shop, Mary, over there, at that end.
Right.
Smaller building there. That's where I started.
And were you very happy there, Thomas?
I was very happy, surely, Mary. It was
Right.
a good place to work and
Aye.
good bosses. And
Good profession too.
yes, and it was a good job. Aye.
Aye. And what about you, Thomas?
Well, I started number 4 as well, but you know the people of Sion Mills have been greatly privileged all these years, even since Herdman brothers first came to Sion.
Right.
They provided employment. All the children went to the same school. Didn't matter.
Integrated
Integrated
school.
education
Aye.
from day one.
Brought up together.
Yeah,
Yes.
brought up together.
Because everything was just kept up to scratch, wasn't it?
Up to
There was no
standard.
one in between at all there. No, so
Sports grounds was something special.
that's right.
The
That's right.
sport was supported 100% by the
Oh,
company.
aye.
That's right. That's
Because you hadn't to go out and try and make money.
That is tough.
No. Anything you wanted, you got it.
That's right, Tom. Right. But then that was why everybody was so happy, Thomas.
Right, and everything
Everybody was content.
Aye,
Right, and
content.
everything
Aye.
Just look at what we've found now, the old Spinners Ball Cup,
Bring back memories, Harry. That
doesn't it?
Oh, indeed it
way,
does.
Way back in the 50s,
Aye.
I can remember.
Before my time, Harry.
Yeah, I can remember when I first took over as the secretary of the recreation club, and one of the jobs was to MC the
Right, the Spinners
Spinners
Ball.
Ball.
Right.
and to stand in front of the hordes in the
The recreation hall.
recreation, and it took a few gin and tonics to get the crowds.
I would
to
say
get there.
so.
As we're all well aware, this is the lady who.
Was the last recipient of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
And you.
It wasn't you presented me, Harry, though.
No,
it wasn't.
I think I'd retired
No,
by
you
then.
probably had.
But anyway, I think, Tom, we should present her with the sash
The
again.
sash again.
I
You
give
get her to
you-
put
give
it
you
on
the-
there. Put
give
it
you
on
the-
there to bring back memories there.
Did you
see?
did you actually put it on?
Actually, I had the
person that
opportunity
the lady
of
won it?
a few ladies in the past.
Right.
So I don't know whether
Can
I
you remember?
Yep.
Okay, here it goes.
I was going down to use the bathroom, you see, after Christine had won it.
Yeah.
And a very close friend of mine, Billy Taylor from Ballybuffet,
Yeah.
Billy was sitting and he called me over. He says, and Billy this was in sincerity, Billy didn't know anything different, but he called me over, he says, Tommy, he says, the daughter done well tonight. I says, Harry, that's the wife. And Harry was also
Billy?
embarrassed, so he was, you know.
Well, just to tell you another story is that as secretary, I had the opportunity to invite the directors and the VIPs, etc., people from the village.
Right.
And of course, my wife, now she was district nurse then, so I invited her down to the Spinner's Ball.
Right.
And of course, that was the start of the romance. That
Oh,
so
right.
I think that's a good story.
That's a good
Right,
story. That's how it
right.
all.
That's a-
That's how your love life began, then, Harry.
Exactly,
Aye.
and you can see how
Still together
still together after
after how many years?
I think it's about 40 something.
You've lost
years.
count.
Poor me's tortured.
Aye, well, that was
Maze.
a life sentence for her. But
no doubt.
the hall was used for a lot of other things.
Oh, badminton, indoor cricket,
That's right.
table tennis,
Was it like a social club,
concerts,
That's right.
cinema.
And the cinema.
Cinema.
Aye. It was on a Saturday night.
And
they all came down here to the.
We had a full-time caretaker of the hall, Tom Nelson,
That's
looked
right.
after the hall.
And Tom, do you remember in the hall the crocodile
Crocodile, yes,
and the big
and the sturgeon,
sturgeon?
fish.
That's
Mhm.
right. Supposed to have
And
got-
the deer.
the big bands came here. The show
All the
bands
show
in
bands,
the 50s and
That's
60s.
right.
So that's.
I remember the first day I started in the mill, started up on number 4. We can see up in the new end there. There was a couple of spinners down there, and I was just a 14-year-old boy.
Civil wee being.
Oh yes. But they threatened to take my trousers off.
I'll tell you what, Tom.
If
they had took the trousers, they would have got some surprise. I can tell you.
This man here.
They couldn't get him to sleep. The first night he come to Sion Mills, he was sitting up in the bed, trying to blow out the electric light.
One of
That was
my-
a candle.
One of my colleagues said to me years later, Tommy Gallagher, he says, King, the first time you came to Sion, I had to lasso you to get the first pair of shoes on you. Remember in later years, when I became a supervisor in the winding department, I had a guy work with me, and just no timekeeping was very important. It was important
Oh,
to keep the work every day, but he never came in on a Monday. Suppose he wasn't able to come in from the weekend activities or whatever. However, I called him into the office one day and I says to him, look, John, I want to talk to you about your timekeeping, or you only give you a verbal warning about it. You've been told several times that you'll have to improve, but it hasn't.
You writing cravat in them days, Tom?
No, that was very pleasant. And I says to him, you'll just have to try and come on 5 days. And I says, in fact, I think 4 days is enough for you. And he turns right and he says, I think you're right, Tom, because 3's hardly enough. This Thomas here, where did you come across this? What's this?
Well, I'll tell you the
World
truth
War
about that,
II shell?
Tom. I didn't steal it, to be honest now, I didn't steal it.
Just took it.
But I seen it lying in the mechanic shop when we got word the mill was closing down,
Yeah,
and I took it home with me.
yeah,
That's how I ended up with that.
yeah.
That was made in the factory during the war, the munitions,
Yeah.
making ammunition
They
for,
made these here on Sion.
for the army.
Yeah,
And
that's
that was
right.
made in Sion Mills there.
Yeah. But they still spun yarn throughout the war.
That's right.
Bobby Patton was the engineer, and Jimmy Kennedy would have been my foreman. And Jimmy would have said to me, going out to the coal yard, that was just outside the factory,
Aye.
and bring in 30 or 40 shell bars, as they call them. This was a
That's
A
pretty
shell bar, roughly maybe a wee bit bigger before it was turned down to a size.
Aye.
And then the shell bars, these
were all
would have been
stacked up on
lying,
them,
these
yeah.
would have been lying then, you know, from the war.
Yeah.
You know, to put them up on the racking, they store stuff
Yeah.
up on,
Goodness.
you know. And that's what
Something
the
like-
shell bars was all used for then.
Yeah.
But there was some fun, Mary,
Oh,
in
God.
Bundoran, the excursion, but there was some crack in
Some
Bundoran.
crack, eh?
I'm playing the machines.
Aye, it was a real experience, wasn't it, for
Oh,
us?
aye,
Because
sure.
it was the only time you'd have got to
Pubs.
Bundoran. We never got
Not sure we
nowhere
never
else.
got to Bundoran, did it?
Not at all.
That was like a foreign country
It
to
was,
us.
that's right. It was foreign to
That was
me
like go-
anyway.
That was like going to England, you
That's
go to
right.
Bundoran.
And this train was put on that morning, and all the workers all boarded the train. And we had a brilliant day, Thomas, didn't we, whenever we
Oh.
got the length. And the station was
Your
there.
picnic in your bag,
That is right. Oh,
the
everything
sandwiches,
set
the
for the day, eh?
Aye,
Your mother getting everything ready for you the night before.
that's
and
right, that's
telling you to
right.
behave yourself and that.
Don't be doing nothing
Oh,
wrong. eh?
that's right. Oh, sure it was right. You were a great cricketer, Thomas.
Well, I
Oh,
played it
for
anyway,
heaven's
Mary. I
sake, you
wouldn't
were
say a great cricketer.
And I used to go down, you know, look us girls and sit and watch it, you know. And all these nice fellas all playing cricket. But I think Sion was really great for cricket, wasn't it?
Well, they were saying at that time was
Was
the
elect, weren't
was
they?
the team to beat them.
Aye, they were. And I mean, look at that big match he's had.
West Indies.
West Indies, Ireland
Aye.
played the West Indies.
Select
Aye.
Northwestern.
And sure, he's won that too.
Ireland beat the West Indies, bowled them out for 26 runs, 1968.
Is that the year it was, 68?
1968.
No
Let me show you
clues.
this, Mary. You would enjoy seeing this. You mean Master Pat Herdman, the
Aye.
owner of the factory?
Aye, surely.
Well, he presented the both teams, the West Indies and the Ireland team,
Aye.
with 7 napkins, Irish linen napkins,
Oh, dear.
and a tablecloth.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that simply wonderful?
The
Oh,
7 napkins
Thomas.
is all embroidered, you know, the mountains of Mourne, the lakes of Killarney, all embroidered into it.
And it was all made from the fine
That was made
yarn,
for the yarn was made here.
The yarn
and
was spun here and probably Ulster Weavers.
Ulster
did that
Weavers
on
would have
it,
made it.
yeah.
And then you were allowed out at any time, weren't you, to go to the cricket?
Oh, see the
Well, you got a lot of privileges, Tom. If you
oh
were,
big privileges.
if you were
the,
a good cricketer.
the factory, the owners supported cricket. You see,
Yeah.
they wanted cricket to be played, and
Yes.
if we had a most of the cricket team all worked in the mill in those days. You see, and we got out. See, you had to go out to play a midweek match, and you had to get out at 5 o'clock. Quarter
Yeah.
to 6, you stopped then. You had to get out at 5 o'clock to make the cricket team. Your wages
You got
weren't
no loss,
docking your wages.
No loss of wages.
We went away to the West Indies, once to Barbados, once to Trinidad, and once to Israel.
Yeah.
3 weeks at a time. When we come back from them cricket tours, our wages was in the house in an envelope sent up to the house to us.
Yeah.
They
We didn't
were-
lose no money.
No.
They were certainly keen on you playing,
You know,
Thomas.
anybody else that didn't work in a factory like Sion, they all lost their money. They lost their wages. We
Yeah.
didn't lose our wages.
That's true.
No,
Aye.
but they're very, very good days like that.
Yeah. Directors seem to
Encourage it.
encourage cricket and supported it, and
That's right.
yeah.
So I remember here, they brought an old man called Bert Chaplin. He's an old man with a walking stick and a limp.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time. I would have been, what? I'd have been about 10 years of age, and that'd be 50 odd years ago.
Yeah.
And we were the first cricket team in the Northwest to have a cricket professional.
Yes.
Herdmans brought him over from England, housed him,
Yes.
and paid his wages for about, I would say he must have been here 15 years before he eventually left and went to Strabane.
But there was a great interest in cricket those days. I mean, if there were a match down here in the
Oh, sure.
And
All
they-
down.
That was
home
all
field,
encouraged by the factory.
Yes. The
Factory.
the crowds of people that-
Everybody that played cricket, you had two teams in Sion, first 11, second 11. Everybody worked in the mill.
aye.
Everybody worked in it.
That's
No,
why you so
and,
many went to see the matches,
that's right.
Thomas, too,
And you
because
had
we
to
knew
fight
them.
hard to keep your place.
Do you remember the coronation, the Queen's coronation? I mean,
Oh, Lord, that's right.
they made a big wooden crown,
That
the
is
shape of
right.
a crown,
Aye.
and put all the wooden lights,
Aye, that's
coloured
right.
lights on it. And you would have seen put it up on the top of the mill, up under there. You see it up.
Aye.
That's where it was, and they illuminated it, switched the lights on, and you would have seen that coming up the road from Strabane. You'd have seen the crown,
Aye.
and then they had a fireworks display out at the football
That's
field.
right,
Mind that?
That's right. You're right, Thomas, you mind so much it. And there during the night, it was lovely when you were coming down, when that factory was all working. You were coming down from the Glebe or up from Strabane, and it was just all lit, wasn't it, Tom? From wow.
Yeah, it was,
You know,
Aye, that's right.
really lovely, so it was.
It's just a wee poem that I had wrote 5 minutes after. I think we all got word that the mill was closing, and I sat down, put pen to paper, and just come up with this short poem. And I named it The Reeler's Poem because that's what I was, a reeler. The Reeler's Poem by Christina Harper. The wheel it has stopped turning now, and people's hearts are sore. Herdmans yarn spinners will spin the yarn no more. The workers are full of sadness, pain and sorrow. What will the future hold? What will we do tomorrow? These questions remain unanswered at this present moment in time. Only the man above knows what's in store down the line. I talk to all my workmates and reminisce of yesteryears. Each one tells their story with eyes full of tears. The rovers and the spinners are finally have a rest. No more spinning yarn for QC to test. The winders and the fitters lay down their tools. No more clocking in or out or abiding by the rules. My hand is getting tired now. John Coyle is in sight. I should be making leasing. I have no permission to write. He might turn a blind eye and leave me to finish my poem. Probably by that time we'll all be gone home. So I'll just put my pen down and go back to my reel. I leave behind my sad thoughts from my heart how I feel.
Oh, Lord,
You
changes.
look at the place now,
Look at
the way it
place,
is.
aye. But
That's-
it's in them days when you think there were not as good a pay anywhere else.
That's right,
As was
that's
in
right.
Herdmans.
We used to run down the lane,
Oh,
man,
do
to
you
get
mind,
to our
Thomas?
work,
Aye. And wait for Friday evening to mind to get that money.
and we run up it quicker.
Aye, we did with a wee box. Not for the wee box for the money.
If the mill was open, the Morrigan would be full.
When I first seen the project, I wasn't even sure if I was capable of doing it, but you know, as it went on and you start seeing it was starting to fit into place and work for you, it was very rewarding but very challenging. But an ordinary building site, you'd get a set of drawings and you'd have the measurements and all there, and you could just work off the drawings. We hadn't got that on this project. We had to work with photographs and get it like for like. At different stages of the roof, I had to look through the photographs and broke them down. Maybe the 900 photographs that had done it in sections, broke them down to maybe 50 photographs that would have helped me at different sections of the roof. And we had stole a lot of evidence from that. You got to start thinking like a detective. You would know a brick there was 80 mil, and the mortar was another 10, 100 mil, and then you'd know that the width of the brick was a 220. So you could count them. You would know the measurement of your tiles in the roof. You could steal evidence from the tiles by counting the tiles. Little of the old wood we could salvage from the first roof, because there's actually one piece in the bike rooms that were fit to use, but the rest was too far gone. But the A-frames, we made them in a workshop, and they come from the workshop. We had to make them like for like. So that was well done of Pat Begley in the workshop. He took a lot of time and he got them dead on. So that left things easy for me when we got them here. And then when you got the A-frame up, that gave you a lot of answers too. And then you worked off it and got the rafters up. And we got them all done then. It was a matter of felting and laughing. There was a lot of, I think it was over 30,000 tiles was used. We used about 9,000 of the original tiles, and they were used to the front of the building. And then the newer tiles they were handmade in England and come from England, and they come in two different sections, so we had to wait for them for a wee while. So we got them all on. There was a lot of lead work on the roof also, and then the belfry was made in the workshop too, the belfry tower. We had about 6 gables here to build up, you know, and make good again. The brickwork was pretty poor when we come to, and we had to make it structurally sound above the windows. There used to be wooden window heads in. We had to bring new concrete heads in so it would support the new roof. But it was a privilege to work on it and, you know, give the Sion Mills people back a bit of their history, you know. So.
Well, within the next few weeks, we're going to be going to tender and appointing builders for phase 2. Phase 2 is going to be the fitting out of the tea room, the kitchens and the museum, and also the building of a brand new heritage education centre on the site as well. When I first came to the building, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. You had all of these different stalls and so much that was contemporary to the period. It was a fantastic building altogether. I could see the potential. And then as I started to meet people involved in the project, I heard more and more about the history of Sion Mills and learned more and realised that the building that we're standing in wouldn't be big enough to contain a museum to tell the full story. So as a project team, we sat down then and we looked about how we could best use the space, and we looked at the stories that we would be telling in Sion Mills, and we've decided that we're going to have temporary rotating exhibitions that'll be housed within each of the different stalls. We'll also have one of the stalls used as a genealogy research centre. Each of them, the exhibits will change maybe on a monthly basis, but we could get a phone call from a coach operator saying that he's got a group of people who are interested in X, Y and Z. And 2 hours later, whenever they arrive at the stables, we'll have an exhibition tailored to what they're interested in. Sion Mills is going to be the catalyst for tourism in the local area now. We hope to be the linchpin in this drive to bring tourism and to start generating local rural tourism. We have the facilities, we have the artefacts. All we need now is the people to come.